Morning, this is talkSPORT breakfast at 7:34 with me, Jeff Stelling, and Ali McCoist, and Arnold Clark's Real Sale. The huge savings to be had on over 20,000 used cars. It's the Australian Open next week, but Wimbledon is making the headlines this morning. The BBC's coverage of the tournament is coming under scrutiny from the All England Club. Here's talkSPORT's Sam Quek with the details.
Wimbledon, the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club, have called for the BBC to revamp their coverage of the world-renowned summer tennis tournament. While the BBC will not lose their broadcaster rights of the most popular Grand Slam in tennis, they are being pressured to shake things up as Wimbledon chiefs believe the coverage on the BBC has become outdated and stale. This stems from other broadcast rivals using new and innovative ways of covering tennis tournaments. Sky Sports, for example, who have the rights to the ATP and WTA tournaments, as well as the US Open, began to deploy courtside analysis during matches in the 2025 season. Wimbledon do respect the historic partnership they have with the BBC and do not intend to end it, rather just see some innovative improvements to the output. An industry source said John McEnroe is great, but some of the other presenters and pundits at Wimbledon seem out of touch and not up to date with the players. On the sports bar last night, Jason Cundy had his say, putting the onus back on the All England Tennis Club.
Wimbledon have got themselves to blame because you can only wear white, and it's very Wimbledon. What more do they want?
Personally, Coisty, I think that the BBC do Wimbledon brilliantly.
So do I.
It's on 2 channels. Yep. We don't want the gimmicks. We don't want courtside analysis, for God's sake. Just show us the tennis.
I tell you what I do think. I wouldn't mind seeing it freshened up a little bit in terms of some of the personnel. I mean, and I'm slightly biased because I really like him. Guys like Nick Kyrgios, right? I think I like listening to him, I like watching him. Obviously, I love listening to McEnroe.
McEnroe's brilliant.
He's timeless, absolutely timeless. But I'm with you all the way. I think the coverage has been fantastic. I've watched it since I was a wee boy, and I've loved it. I've grown up with it. But I wouldn't mind seeing 1 or 2 maybe new faces into it. But I'm not wanting drastic changes or anything like that.
But surely the BBC would incorporate fresh new faces if those fresh new faces were available and good enough.
Yeah.
It's a natural evolving, isn't it, of things like commentary and presentation and things. But, gimmicks.
Well, no, I'm with you. No, I'm totally with you. But could you change it around a little bit in the respect that make the coverage in BBC 2 slightly different to the coverage in BBC 1? I don't know. Can you make it appealing to a different audience, a younger audience, by having some younger, fresh faces on the BBC 2 channel? I don't know. I don't think, as I said, Jeff, I've loved it since I was a wee boy, and I think the BBC have covered it superbly well.
Yeah. I'd be bang against change, and just having young voices on, that's not going to attract a young audience.
No, well, that's where I'd maybe disagree with you. Because I think with the greatest respect, a younger audience would listen to Nick Kyrgios probably before, dare I say it, John McEnroe. Because, Kyrgios is more recent. It's as simple as that. I'm not saying for a minute he's a better player or a better character.
I was going to say that's the thing. It wasn't within light years.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. But I think the younger generation can probably relate to him a little bit more.
Sean agrees with you, Coyce. He says the LTA are right about their Wimbledon coverage. Same with the snooker. Dennis Taylor and John Virgo had their day out of touch with the modern game. He also says Alonso to Spurs, please. Right now, huge night of Carabao Cup action this evening. The holders Newcastle back in action against Man City. Memories of this day surely in the Geordies' minds.
With a header down to Isaac, boom, a second goal. It's another goal for Newcastle United. It's converted from 10 yards out by Alexander Isak.
Newcastle against Manchester City over 2 legs semi-final of the Carabao Cup. Let's get more on this and say good morning to the chief football reporter at the Daily Mail, Craig Hope. Morning, Craig.
Good morning, Craig.
Morning, Ali. Morning, Jeff.
So, look, Craig, I was looking at the team at the weekend for Newcastle, and Eddie went with Visser and Voltemade, both starting. Would he be bold enough to do that against a City side who are a bit short on defenders?
I don't think so. This was something we obviously probed with him post-match on Saturday. And while he gave the public what the public wanted in terms of Visser and Voldemort starting together, being on the pitch together for the first time, I don't think he necessarily thought it worked. And you can probably find the source of that in the fact that they conceded 22 shots, 13 of those on target against Bournemouth. Eddie likes the assurance of his three-man midfield. He's absolutely convinced that is the best way to operate, his preferred strategy. Now, he went 4-2-3-1 on Saturday. Did it involve Nick Voldemort more in the areas he likes in that number 10 pocket? Well, yes, it did, but I think it was at the expense of a little bit of solidity in midfield. Tonight, guys, would expect them to return to the 4-3-3. I would expect Eddie to pick one of Voldemort or Visser, and I think he'll go with Johan Visser.
I tell you what they would settle for, Craig. I tell you right now, two of the best performances I've seen for Newcastle in recent years, with the semi-final ties against Arsenal, Isak in particular, was outstanding. I thought both those games, they were brilliant.
Ali, they were incredible. They really were. And you look back on Eddie Howe's 4 years and you'd struggle to pick two finer nights in terms of the occasion and his management of the team and the application of the players than the semi-final down at Arsenal, followed by the second leg up here, 2-0 victories. Quite incredible, given Arsenal went into those ties as strong favourites. And they're going to need that tonight. Eddie won't thank me for saying this, but the second leg down at Manchester City in 5 games at the Etihad under Eddie Howe, Newcastle have lost with a cumulative score of 14-0. That tells you they're going to need a result tonight, and I think they can get it. You've been there on those big nights under the lights at St James's Alley when crowd and team come together. They know they're going to have to produce something special tonight. They know they're going to have to take a winning advantage down in that second leg in 3 weeks' time, and I think we will see another one of those special occasions. St James's Park, right now, guys, it's not like a football ground. It's like a theme park. It really is, given the last two against Leeds and Bournemouth. It's tremendous fun. I think it will be again tonight, but they do need that advantage.
Yeah, one thing we almost certainly will see tonight is Antoine Semenyo, which will surprise a lot of people because they would have thought that maybe he'd be cup-tied, having already played in the competition once this season. I guess Eddie Howe not best pleased at this particular rule change, which would allow him to play tonight.
No, he wasn't, and he didn't hide that yesterday. And you've only got to think back 3 seasons, guys, to the Newcastle final against Manchester United when they were beaten at Wembley. Now, who did they play in goal that game? They played Loris Karius. Why did they play Loris Karius? Because Martin Dubravka was cup-tied. So there you go. Newcastle have fallen foul of this rule. Anthony Gordon was also sat in the stands that day because of the same cup-tied rule. Now, Eddie didn't actually know it had changed until he was informed Antoine Semenyo was starting tonight. So there you go. No, Eddie wasn't best pleased. I don't know what you guys think of. I'm not particularly fussed myself either way. You've got to go out there and beat 11 players on the pitch. But yeah, when we pushed Eddie on it yesterday, he didn't sit on the fence. He said no, he wasn't a fan of it.
I think he's got a point, to be honest with you, Craig. You touched on it, and I'm just looking at stats, and I didn't know they were that good. Newcastle unbeaten in their last 13 at St James's, and you touched on it. That'll be the place. Sadly, I won't be at that game tonight, but I'll tell you right now, I won't be missing it. The atmosphere will be absolutely electric, mate.
It will be as well. And do you know what? They've won 4 on the spin in all competitions if you take that penalty shootout victory over Bournemouth on Saturday. And are they playing well? Are they playing wonderful, fluent football whereby you'd look at Newcastle and say they're back to the very best? No, they're not. But I've watched a lot of football over Christmas. I don't think any team is. And there's something to be said for what Newcastle are getting by on right now. And that is an absolute force of personality, a force of nature. Players like Bruno Guimaraes who enjoy being the centre of attention, who enjoy putting on their superhero's cape and dragging their team to victory. And that is what they're going to need tonight. They beat Man City 2 months ago at St James's Park. You know, Harvey Barnes scored both the goals that night too. He's the cherry on the cake, if you like, right now, for all of that solidity and character they've got behind them. So Barnes plus Bruno plus Joe Linton, they've got players who are in a good place at the moment. Threw in as well young Lewis Miley, guys. I don't know how much you've spoken about
Tremendous.
Miley on your station of late. He's been filling in at right back, a 19-year-old midfielder. He's just a good footballer. You could put him in centre-half. You could put him in goal for the shootout against Bournemouth at the weekend. He probably would have saved 4 penalties, you know. He's tremendous. He's got an outside chance of going to the World Cup. So they've got players who are in a good place. They've got a stadium. They've got a manager. everything needs to come together tonight, and I think it will.
Brilliant. Very much looking forward to it, mate. Very much indeed. Thanks, Craig.
Enjoy it, Craig.
Cheers, guys.
And just to emphasise that record,
game.
2 legs. The next leg's 3 weeks away, which is just a nonsense. But it is what it is. Craig mentioned Newcastle's recent record at Man City. They've actually lost their last 10 at City in all competitions, 10 on the bounce. So they need to do it tonight. You can hear commentary of Newcastle United against Man City live on talkSPORT, coverage from 7 with the kickoff at 8. Texting about the tennis coverage, said the Sky Sports tennis channel with Laura Robson and Tim Henman works excellently. Get them paired up in Wimbledon. I'm just going to politely disagree with that. And one more from Sai in Kent. He says, Ali, Jeff, asking for commentary to be freshened up with younger voices. Be careful what you wish for.
I knew where that was going, mate. Well done.
Thank you, Sally. Right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Doing what matters for the trade. Find your local branch at travisperkins.co.uk.
We'll be joined by 2 men whose fingertips have played a big part in success on the pitch.
Oh, and it's headed goalwards, and a brilliant save by Craig Gordon. What a wonderful piece of goalkeeping that is. Produced a shot, it's tipped over the top by Ben Foster.
Yeah, Hearts Hall of Famer Craig Gordon, Scotland international, of course, as well. And the former Man U keeper Ben Foster will join us just after 8 o'clock. We'll get the latest transfer news with the man whose fingertips are usually caught in the biscuit tin.
Still in my underpants, so nobody wants to see that.
No, too right.
Here.
He's never said a truer thing. Alex Crook will be with us as well. That was a look ahead, all thanks to the brilliant Travis Perkins.